It's Kurt. I made a video while I was shooting up and I didn't like it. I'm just, I still want to make a video because I like to make videos. Um, but I'm just gonna read things. I, I, my shoot up video, when I tried to shoot up and make a video, I tried to explain this. It was a book that I read the other day, and I read it in a couple hours. I loved it so much. Um, but the whole point of this book is you're supposed to read it, and then it's supposed to make you kind of come up with the theory of everything. So I don't really want to share my idea on this book. It's supposed to be very open-ended. And I feel like if I share my idea and then someone tries to read this after I share my idea, it's going to fuck up your experience. So in lieu of that, I'm just gonna read a passage from it, and then I'm gonna read some more shit that I have, and then I'm gonna read myself. Um, but we'll call this fair use because I'm reading very small passages. But anyway, this is A God's Debris by Scott Adams. He was the creator of Dilbert cartoons, and this is a philosophical thought experiment about a theory of everything and what that would look like. Um, this is called Curious Bees, one of the chapters in the book. Why do people have different religions? I asked. It seems like the best one would win eventually, and we'd all believe the same thing. The old man paused and rocked. He tucked both hands inside his red plaid blanket. Imagine that a group of curious bees lands on the outside of a church window. Each bee gazes upon the interior through a different stained glass pane. To one bee, the church's interior is all red. To another, it is all yellow, and so on. The bees cannot experience the inside of the church directly. They can only see it. They can never touch the interior or smell it or interact with it in any way. If bees could talk, they might argue over the color of the interior. Each bee would stick to his version, not capable of understanding that the other bees were looking through different pieces of stained glass. Nor would they understand the purpose of the church, or how it got there, or anything about it. The brain of a bee is not capable of such things. But these are curious bees. When they don't understand something, they become unsettled and unhappy. In the long run, the bees would have to choose between permanent curiosity and uncomfortable mental state and delusion. The bees don't like those choices. They would prefer to know the true color of the church's interior and its purpose, but bee brains are not designed for that level of understanding. They must choose from what is possible, either discomfort or self-deception. The bees that choose discomfort will be unpleasant to be around, and they will be ostracized. The bees that choose self-deception will band together to reinforce their vision of a red-based interior or yellow-based interior, and so on. So you're saying we're like dumb bees? I asked, trying to lighten the mood. Worse, we are curious. So, yeah, I'm the curious one. I assume I'll be ostracized because I think you guys need to look at the stained glass and see if there's a prettier picture. Um, but that's that. Uh, I really love that book. It's it's basically set up like Ishmael by Daniel Quinn, but it's with an old dude and instead of a gorilla, and I just love that book. It does some weird gender role shit that I'm not necessarily into, but other than that, I can't say I disagree with the book at all. The book is just, it's saying it's not supposed to be funny, but it's fucking hilarious to me. Um, Literally at the beginning of the book, it was like, this is not humorous, and I found it fucking hilarious. Anyway, now I'm just gonna read William Blake. Uh, I sent this to my boss the other day, and he liked it, so figured I'd share it here too. Uh, this is called The Smile. There is a smile of love, and there is a smile of deceit, and there is a smile of smiles in which these two smiles meet. And there is a frown of hate, and there is a frown of disdain, and there is a frown of frowns which you strive to forget in vain, for it sticks in the heart's deep core, and it sticks in the deep backbone, and no smile that ever was smiled, but only one smile alone, that betwixt the cradle and grave it only once smiled can be, but when it once is smiled, there's an end to all misery. I think it could be about enlightenment. I don't know. Anyway, that's William Blake. William Blake is super cool. Like, I'm just starting to get into William Blake, but if you don't know William Blake, he like came up with an entire mythology. And I first learned about William Blake by watching the Red Dragon, like, sequel to Silence of the Lambs. Um, but, and there's like that dragon. But I just like, I love his art. I love his words. Um, he's just a freak. And I love freaks. They're much cooler than unfreaky people. Why wouldn't you want to be freaky? Fucking loser. Um, This is John S. Hall's Daily Negations, and I really suggest that you should probably follow him on Instagram and just watch him read these aloud. It's just him reading his own daily negation for the day, and then his commentary on it now that he's this not young. Um, but John S. Hall is important because he's King Missile, and he's a poet. If you don't know what King Missile is, look up King Missile on Spotify. You'll thank me later. I'm going to read today's daily negation because I really liked it. Maybe I don't know very much, or maybe I have too much information, or maybe somehow I don't know very much and I have too much information. Whatever, I'm clueless. I really like that. My favorite self-referential paradox is I know that I know nothing. It's like the self-referential paradox of all self-referential paradoxes. It's the best one. Anyway, I'll read some of my poetry, I suppose. Then I have some wall poetry I could read from from the spare change news that I put on my wall. But we'll start with this and see how much more time I have before quick time will cut me off. Uh, this is called The Good Side of Town. It's by Kurt. I don't live on the bad side of town. I don't live on the good side of town neither. I am in purgatory, waiting to see which side of the tracks I belong on. That's a typo. Is the good side where the rich folks live in splendor and vain, counting the days with the note on their name? Or is it where they fight for survival, costing the days to their paycheck arrival? To be successful is to have the audacity to take up space, to scream, I am here and I demand retribution for so being. Without me, you'd have nothing. Bow to the presence of presence. Submit to your masters so you'll climb the ladder faster, to be the nameless, twiddling thumbs till our saviors come save us, the saviors from the good side of town. This is called Sappy. Sappy. My body's living shit is getting beat out of it. Its anxious heart throbs mercilessly. Oh, how I wish it would stop. I'm dead tired. I'm on the ground, ba-dum ba-dum. Music fills the space between my eyelids. I am awake. Must do something. Must write before death. Humans sing shitty swan songs. Regrets beget death. Near death begets regrets. Causation begets correlation. Rarely the reverse. Death follows me, and I it, capriciously awaiting its arrival. Fuck survival. I'm a strict determinist, but I don't believe in predetermination. Things are only determined when they are. I am determined by my fate, drinking without constraint. Doctors plunder red blood and greenbacks. Needle in my hand, free me from the pain, equate this life with others, contrast and compare what is fair. Free me from this life with others, heaven stares, I wish I could write sappy, remind women where we belong. Also, I misread that and then I just went with it, but I determined this fate, not I am determined by my fate. I just fucked up and then I was like, I'm gonna go with this. But no, I really don't. I'm a strict determinist. I think that, I don't really understand how time works because light doesn't experience time, right? So, by that knowledge, then time must be an illusion. Light is the omniscient God because light doesn't experience time. It's out of everything. If you go fast, light is still going to be beating you by the speed of light. Light is basically, sometimes I just think we are light that's fallen or something, light experiencing space and time. But I have no evidence to that. That's a real far off reach, and just sometimes it comes back to me. But I don't think I can ever know what it is. But light is just really interesting, and I think that's why Einstein was a strict determinist, because you can't be like light just doesn't experience time and think that the passage of time is necessarily real. So I'm a strict determinist, but I don't think that things are determined until they are. Um, by your perception, because what I'm doing in the future is not necessarily determined until I've done it for me right now. It might be determined for light, but it's not determined for me. And that's the cool thing that I think being and existing gives you, is that yes, everything's determined, but you are the one determining it because you're experiencing it. Anyway, that's my philosophy of the day. I still, I, I like, am, I'm, I'm positive that my perception of things with this and what I'm trying to do is right, because I've been sitting on it for a long time, and I used to carry around Michael Sipser's um, Introduction to Theory of Computation like it was my Bible. Theorem 3.12, I think it's that. It's 3 point something. But in chapter or something or another. But I just think people should know, and I think I'm being punked. I think I'm being punked with people still giving gender markers to babies. That's just are we not? Do none of you guys know trans people? I feel how do you not understand? Um, but I don't like telling people that they're wrong, and I don't want to be known. So what do I do when I know things and I'm supposed to tell people them? Or else I just sound crazy. But I just want everyone to know without me having to tell it